What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark. It's with Thursday morning, man. We're trying to get some cash, man. 4 games on the card. See what I'm saying? We trying to get it, man. Hope everybody's good in the chat as well. Let's get this energy going, my guys. Shark, what's up with you, my brother? Everything cool with you?
Absolutely taking a breath. Beautiful, beautiful morning here in Pennsylvania. The fall is really coming to fruition here. 11 a.m. East Coast, 10 Central. J Money, 4 games on the card today. Smaller slate. Let's get in there and let's discuss this one.
Yeah, let's get in there, man. I'm gonna start off with the Lakers background, my guys. We're gonna start off with the Lakers shooting. That's their. No, but let's talk about it, my guys. First game up, man. It's all business here, guys. We're going to the streets of Brooklyn here. We got the Nets getting 2.5 points versus the Dallas Mavs, my guys. What do you think about this game, Char? Obviously, we were talking about this one a lot last night. Then you went back this morning as well. Break the people down, man. You got a lot more on this game than me, my brother.
Yeah, there's a lot to discuss here. And I do want to draw this back to yesterday as a correlation to today's card. Yesterday, the card was just crazy sharp. And for those of you who are just starting to follow myself and Jay in this show, you'll notice we don't spray the board. We have 1 or 2 top plays per day. At the end of the season, we probably only have 250 to 300 total plays, where you'll see some guys that have 300 plays in a month. And it's just what we do. We really refine and we cut plays that really don't check what I call all the boxes. And what all the boxes are deep layered numerical and psychological analysis points. And when you start to go through this game, my initial lean, of course, was Dallas. You find the Nets on a 3rd and 4, road home back-to-back, fatigue spot, this, and that. And you find Dallas coming off really a lackluster Ciroc on ice, if you will, game at New Orleans, in which they just came out with no focus, no energy, and no professionalism, really. They had no business losing that game. They were 4.5, 6-point favorite, lost outright, whatever you want to call it. You go back to last year in this matchup, this is where it starts to become difficult. Go back to the first matchup last year. Brooklyn went into Dallas and laid 1.5 points on the road and did win the game and cover 102-99. So when you lay 1.5 points and you win the game by 3, what does it look like? It's sharp. And you go into further detail on this. The reversal in the fourth quarter in that game was gigantic. Brooklyn was down significantly in that game and came back in the fourth quarter 27-13, a full-scale Dallas melt. Come back to Barclays later in the season. Dallas was favored, which was line functionality. I had the game, and I did cover the game. I was on 1.5, and it had gotten steamed to 2, 2.5, or 3 throughout that day. And what happened in that game? Brooklyn blew a huge lead in the fourth quarter. Dallas 34-20 in the fourth quarter to reverse that and cover on a Spencer Dinwiddie walk-off 3. Now you come back here. This game did open up as Brooklyn as a favorite, which would have suggested Brooklyn being the line functionality spot in the revenge game. It's going to make it difficult. Jay, I'll throw it back to you for some points. I got more stuff on it. We can rip through it.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me, man. I think obviously the Nets have a lot of holes, man. They could lose this game. Obviously, they were up 12 at the half last night. The second half just absolutely melted, man. I feel like that's coaching, guys. This is the worst third quarter team. I thought it would flip last night. I thought they had the good matchup. The first half was the spot. I missed that one, man. You got to own it. See what I'm saying? The first half was the banger spot for the Nets there. I missed the play. We took the full game, took the loss on that one, my guys. But yeah, I don't know what to do with this team, and I think it's really coaching right now. These type of things really can get into the psychology of the players as well. We knew that KD doesn't like the coach, man. He's kind of going out there like, all right, I'm accepting my check. I'll do this. Obviously, I'm with this team, but we know that these guys don't want to play for Nash and the rest of the coaching staff as well. Can't even just put it on Nash, my guys. So I'm not sure what to say with this team. Obviously, they don't have the rest advantage. You'd like to buy the Mavs here. I don't like the fact this is a national TV game. Everybody's on one side. Everybody's on the Mavs here. That doesn't mean that it's not going to cash, guys. And all honesty, I had to say that. Doesn't mean that it's not going to win. I don't necessarily be on the side. It's still Mavs or nothing for me. I'm sorry. I sometimes you have to trust the bookmaker's number, what they brought out at first. You see the eye test basically is what's flipped this line, but they're at the rest disadvantage, road home back-to-back. 16-34-1 against the spread last 51 home games. Absolutely horrible, man. So I'm not taking taking this Nets team right now. Maybe the next couple games versus Indiana Shark, where they have the matchup advantages and a team that doesn't play any defense, but I'm not taking them versus a formidable NBA team, a Mavs team coming off a loss as well, where I'm sure they're insulted by their quality. No, they shouldn't have lost to that Pelicans team without Zion, Ingram, and Herb Jones, 3 of their starters, and you lost that game outright. Stop it, man. They should come in here with some focus and some intensity. Dinwiddie going up against his old squad, they'll always have something versus them. So it's still Mavs or nothing for me. That's the way I'd still lean Mavs first half full game, Shark, but it's probably not a game I'm bidding.
Yeah, no, you mentioned it. And we said this last night with the national game. And, of course, that national game, there was a gap at the end of it. And that's more so just, as you mentioned, Steve Nash and this group not getting it together. And also Giannis and the boys really showing signs of potentially coming out this season with immense focus and quality. One thing that I really wanted to take in this game, and I'm not on it, I wanted to take Dallas first half. If you go back to Dallas's first road game at Phoenix, they came out with just guns blazing and absolute demolition in the first half. And, of course, in the most recent game at New Orleans, they were flat in the first half. And something that I talk about all the time is the game flow reversal in a back-to-back for a team. And when you saw Brooklyn come out very well last night, particularly in the second quarter, a complete blowout, and cover the first half at Milwaukee, oftentimes teams will come home and come out with the polar opposite game flow. Here's the problem. The line is short. When you see Dallas at -2.5, 3 getting steamed aggressively, and the line in the first half is being held at -1 in a lot of places, this is a short split. So it told me a story. I went back to last season and I said, okay, so how does Brooklyn function coming home off a road game prior in a back-to-back scenario where they covered the first half in a previous game? And we got two environments. And you know what's even better? We have an exact environment that we have tonight. Tuesday, March 15th, the Brooklyn Nets played at Orlando, and they hammered Orlando in the first half on the front end of a back-to-back. They came home Wednesday, March 16th against Dallas, and you know what they did? They covered the first half. Slightly later on, same thing. On a road home back-to-back, Brooklyn covered the first half. So as much as this speaks to a Dallas first half off a dud, fading Brooklyn off a good one last night, I think Brooklyn might come out here and get them, and I think the game is right on the number. I think this is a one-bucket game, and one final point on the total. The total's coming up. It is a line functionality over. Of course, you guys saw that total that I lost last night with with Portland. Incredibly, incredibly sharp stuff. This is getting steamed down aggressively from 228.5 to 225. A lot going on here. Line functionality suggests over. I think we've talked about this game for close to 8 minutes. This game, in my opinion, is just right on the number. And it's frustrating because I wanted to take a side in this game. It's just crazy sharp.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about it so much, guys, because Shark he wanted to take the Mavs first half, but it sounded like he on style. The Nets are 3-7-1 against the spread last 11 games playing on 0 days rest. So it hadn't really been the best team playing on back-to-backs, my guys. It's a tough one for me. Everyone's on the Mavs, but actually I couldn't talk you off, man. So the national TV games, I'll be honest with you, unless I really got something, them are the trickiest ones, man. I can't stand them, especially when everybody on the same side. No one is on the Nets today, my guys. Does give me some hesitation, but I don't know, man. I don't know. When I don't know, I'm not betting it. But let's go over here to the streets of Oklahoma City here, Char. We got the Thunder here getting 6.5 points at the house versus the Clippers here, my guy. SGA surprised and played in that game, and they came and balled out. What do you think happens in game 2 here, my brother?
Well, I think this is going to be tough. My natural lean here is the Clippers. When you start to go through the line functionality of this matchup, it does speak to a Clippers line here. Obviously, the last game did open up at -10. The final line was -5.5 after a lot of roster moves throughout the day. But I do think one crucial point here is just how sharp the Clippers on the road have been. If we can throw out the last game against Oklahoma City, because, again, roster moves at the last minute, the first 2 games in the season on the road for the Clippers, 103-97 on a 5.5 hook cover and 111-109, a 1-point loss against the spread. Now you come in at this real hover zone point, 6.5. And if you start to really look at why line functionality mattered between these teams, there were significant line gaps. You had a Clippers 12.5 home, then you had a 4.5, then you had an 11.5 and a 5.5 close. Those gaps are 8, 7, and 6, where it should be 3. So there's significant gaps. Now we're getting a 1 gap. So 8, 7, 6, and it told a story. Now a 1 gap. Moral of the story here is you want to take the Clippers, but this is going to be razor sharp very similar to what we saw with Atlanta at Detroit last night, where Atlanta was 5, came up to 7. Now this is 5.5 coming up to 6.5. You saw how sharp that was. Clippers are the side, but it's going to be a variant spot throughout the game and right on the number.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I put some on Clippers first quarter, first half. I don't mind going official. I mean, we talked about it last night. We talked about it. Let's go 4-0 one time for the one time. I gotta rock with my spots, man. You gotta go with your gut basically all season, man. You find a system, you go with the shit, man. Win, lose, or draw, I'll feel very comfortable with these plays. Give me the fucking Clippers in the first quarter, -2.5. First half is somewhere around 3.5, 4. I like both of them, my guys. I think they will cash the trifecta spot as well. It's going down to 6.5. Maybe coming off the 7. Maybe some people thinking the Thunder have a chance in the second game. I don't think so, guys. They do get PG back in this game as well. I mean, it's early in the season, but I mean, it's hard to take these teams like the Thunder series. But when you get smacked in the mouth and play such a bad game that you did in first game versus OKC, this team's offense is not the greatest, guys, especially without Giddey out there as well. SJ came in, maybe surprised some guys. They didn't have obviously PG or Kawhi. No Kawhi still, but the fact they have PG in here is that I think this may even be a little bit better than the Timberwolves spot. You had the exact same team trying to get some revenge. Now you have the team coming in with their best player coming back in as well against one of his teams he's played for. So give me the Clippers here, first quarter, first half. Couldn't talk you off full game. It's just not something that I bet, guys. I keep it 100 with you. I bet Clippers first quarter -2. First half as well, -3.5. Let's fucking snip them up today, my guy. I like the Clippers early here to come out and smack these guys up, play some defense. All they got to do is play some defense, at least want to win the game, and they should come out here, cover the first quarter, first half. Just up 10 points at the end of the first quarter, just like yesterday, my guys. Shark, any other thoughts on this one? And talk about the Warriors game.
No, I think you're on there. The reason why I was not on that, when I ended up making Minnesota official in the first quarter yesterday, the reason why I did is because when I went back to last year, I found a direct environment, which I did reference on my video on Twitter, where I said they had played back-to-back games against the Clippers last year, and there was a specific one where they did not cover the first one. They came out and just smacked them early. The Clippers last year did not have any road sequences against the same opponent where they lost the first one and then came back with it. So I just didn't have a corollary point, which I do need for these spots. But all the things you're saying are absolutely spot on. I would be surprised if the Clippers did not come out here with, renewed focus and passion for ball tonight.
Yeah, that's facts right. And then coming off 2 straight losses, now obviously got smacked up by the Suns. The Clippers aren't in theory in good form, guys. I'll keep it 100 with you, but this is a spot where I feel like Ty Lue's like, all right, look, guys, get your head out of your ass. We're playing a lower tier team here. Let's get back on our top dog type of stuff here. You see what I'm saying? PG coming back in there. Come on, guys, stop effing around. Come out here, cover this first quarter and first half. And in all honesty, the way I see the game, I think they take them to Smack City full game as well. When OKC's not having their type of game, the offense really sputters. Clippers should cash a trifecta spot. I didn't go get a haircut today, but I may have to, my guys. You definitely got to line up the beard. Let's go over here to the streets of San Francisco here, Char. We got the Warriors laying 6.5 points versus the Heat. This one was up to 7. It's opened up at 7.5, was down to 7, now 6.5. Some Heat maybe getting some love here. Back-to-back road games on the West Coast. It's not something that I have a look on, Char, but maybe Warriors third quarter would continue to do what they do, kind of coast the first half and really come out in that third quarter and smack them up with Heat at the rest disadvantage. Maybe Warriors in this one in the second half. That's where I'll be looking, Short.
Yeah, and I do want to make a comment in the chat. My man Diego Garcia says, I trust Shark, but I don't like that he keeps using last season's stats to cap today's game. I want to make a comment on this. We only do this for the first month of the season because we don't want to go into this like just a blind ghost in the wilderness.
Exactly.
The point is, last season is a numerical story, and it's a crucial point. Vegas odds makers, when they put out a line, they take all roster environments into the line. So they're telling you how a new roster is going to correlate versus an old roster. You can essentially cap NBA basketball without ever watching the sport or knowing anything about the players. And my guy, Diego, I appreciate the comment, but I want to clarify that because this happened last year in early season. People kept saying, what are you doing? And it's a crucial point numerically as an average.
That's the only thing we have to go on. See what I'm saying? Other than that, you're literally just guessing, man. Obviously, early season is the hardest, my guys, but we talk about it could be later in the season, Shark, and we still might talk about something. How did this team do last year, man? Especially if they have somewhat of the same roster. Now, if they have a totally different coach or something, then maybe it'll matter a little bit less. If they got 3-4 new players, maybe it'll matter a little bit less. But the numbers always matter, my guys. We do this shit for a reason. We've been doing this for a while as well. So, but I appreciate you clarifying, Sharp. But what you think about this Heat Warrior spot?
Yeah, absolutely. And one final point on that. You're absolutely right, because sometimes, again, human psychology repeats itself, and your human psychology as a person, you might not repeat yourself until March. So the point is, this March, we might coin last March, even though we've seen 2/3 of an NBA calendar this year, because what does this team do in March, just given their vibe and the depth point of the season and whatnot. So it's all human psychology. And I always say this to people, remember, professional athletes are just human beings. Right. The media wants to make them seem like they're superhuman gods. They're human beings. They have the same fluctuations, patterns, and energy shifts that we all do, and the same repetitions we all do, given a day of the week and fatigue versus energy, et cetera. When you can
go ahead and finish. I want you to finish, because this is sharp shit right here. Go ahead and finish. What are you saying?
Yeah, so when you can really just remember that you as a person are very ingrained, preconditioned by media and TV to think these guys are not really human beings. When you can take that away and realize they are, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, what would I do in that position? Would I repeat this and that? And you would. And that's how they act, just
exactly
the same. So it's very important stuff to note psychologically.
No, that's a good point. That's what I figured out over the past couple of seasons, man. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build some shit. Once I figured out the mindset of them, that's when I came up with the slogan, "We will win," my guys. But Shark, what are we doing? Warriors versus Heat, my guy.
This is a tough game. My initial lean is probably Miami. Of course, you don't want to fade the Dubs off a blowout loss. Dubs are 0-3 ATS last 3. Their only cover this season came in the opener as a favorite against the Lakers. But Miami seems to play very well on the West Coast in general, and they play very well against the Dubs on the road. They're 3-1 ATS last 4 ball games at the Dubs. The only non-cover was actually an overtime cover for the Dubs. The Dubs were laying -1.5 a couple of years ago and did win 120-112 in overtime. So if you actually cap the 48, Miami's 4-0 ATS in the 48 last 4 ball games at Golden State. I wanted to see what Miami was going to do last night. I was kind of hoping they tanked the game last night. Of course, they just throttled them. Of course, slightly aided by a Damian Lillard injury. But the line is giving us nothing here. Last year, we had inflated lines. Dubs were 10.5, won the game by 7 at home. It came all the way over to Miami -10 at home. That was a game where Steph Curry did not play, Klay Thompson did not play, and Draymond Green did not play. And the backups won the game outright at a +10, 118-104, the classic environment of a Ciroc on ice game. So you get Miami 2x revenge. You get no line functionality. You get the Dubs off 3 straight non-covers. You get Miami in a fatigue spot, and you get Miami where they play well. So what I'm telling you here is this is yet another game where there is significant counterpoint to either side. Free play here. I do like the look with Miami to continue how they play in this environment. But this is tough stuff, Jack. It's just tough. There's no way around it.
No, that's facts right there. It's tough to. I mean, we talk about the champs and maybe being kind of sort of not necessarily straight fade, but not necessarily giving their best effort in the first 20 of the games. So that would definitely give you some hesitation with the Warriors here. They are coming off a blowout loss though. What they lost the game by 30 some points, right? So I mean, when you get your quality checked like that, and you come back to the house and you have the rest advantage as well versus another. So the Warriors aren't playing defense right now, but the Heat's offense isn't necessarily clicking right now as well. So something's got to give. I don't personally, I'm standing off this game, man. You make some good points too, Shark. Obviously, the Heat are due to come up. It's a tough game for me, man. Like I say, I don't think you're getting the best version of the Warriors right now. And you could tell by their defense. They're basically trying to beat you with offense right now. They know they can do it. But when they're not playing the championship style defense, it's tough right now. I still think that third quarter would be a look here, even if they don't cover the game. Still, it's just specifically honing in on that specific window. I don't know what's up with these guys, what they go in their halftime and do, if they're drinking beers, gassing up, playing ping pong or what. But they come out that third quarter and they just ready to smash smash you, man. So it didn't even matter if they give it up in the fourth quarter. It just seemed to do something in the third quarter with the Heat being on the back-to-back. That's the only way I could look here, but it's not a game that I'm betting. I'll watch this game and try to learn some things, Shark. But let's go over here to the streets of Sacramento. I want to ask you to get the hat, my guy, but it's all good, man. But we got the Kings here getting 3.5 versus the Grizzlies. I would like to know what you think about this game, my guy.
Oh, I don't like this one either. And I know I had put on Twitter, retweet and like for top play. There's no top play tonight. It's patience, 1 unit. And that's just because, again, I do not force plays. And as I mentioned, when we look back in July, we will thank ourselves because tonight's card for me is giving me no access. And there will be about 350 plays throughout the course of the season. This game, there's a lot going on in this game. Sacramento has beaten, Memphis has beaten Sacramento 6 consecutive ball games. Last year, they absolutely blew them out in all 3. And this was very, very similar in all of them. Uncanny stuff, actually. 128-101, 124-105, 127-102. And if you go through just some small arithmetic there, all 3 games finished exactly at 229 points. That's hard to do. And when you see the total coming up to 237, this is an over lean. Again, I think well adjusted. Large scale point in totals in the NBA. When you start to see books move totals up to the high 230s, low 240s, that's where it's an over, it's a pace, it's an energy, and it's a shooting percentage expectancy, but it's also incredibly well adjusted. In terms of the line functionality, this is a Memphis line. In the most recent matchup, Memphis did go on the road with Ja Morant. I should mention the previous 2 matchups were without Ja Morant. Early season when, of course, Triple J, Desmond Bane, and these guys just went on a demolition tour against the spread. 2.5, you win by 25. They open it up stronger. They're telling you a Memphis story. But again, Sacramento's 0-3 on the campaign overall. 6x revenge, peak motivation. And Memphis on the road, these games have been tight. To bring you back to the game at Houston, -5.5. It finished at 7. And again, Sacramento, that Clippers game, same number. They were getting 3, and it finished at 2. So I think this is really sharp. I think it's tight. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think you're gambling in this game yet again.
I don't think so. Well, I think that you guys could take whatever you want, man. This is, like I say, this is a game that I'm on. I really want to always say this, guys. When we come on here with official plays, we're not saying you have to ride with us. It's definitely your it's your money that you're betting with, my guys. I'm on the Kings here. We hopped on them last night, plus the 4 and on the money line. I actually see the Kings win this game going away, my guys. I don't care about the line in this game, just for the specific reason that these are 2 totally different teams, and you get a new head coach with the Kings. I also think that's a key point as well. Those last few times, the Grizzlies hadn't even seen them. Those 3 games, Halliburton was playing those games. So you had a totally different Kings team here. And obviously they had Triple J, Anderson, and D'Anthony Melton in all 3 of those games. Well, 2 of them, they had Melton. I went through the numbers last night. Triple J had at least 17 points in every one of those games. He had 2 blocks. He was actually a huge difference. Melton was like a plus 29, plus 19 in both of those games. Huge off the bench. Kyle Anderson as well. This is a new renewed Kings team. They're coming off a loss as well. And this is what I like as well. They're bringing in momentum. They really could have laid down versus the Warriors there, guys. Really could have got smacked by 50 points. What did they do? They closed the game on a 35-17 run, closed the game to a 5 play. If you bet that game, you know as well. If you had the Warriors, you know, because they were up by 25 points. And then, now it's a single-digit game, and the Kings covered that game plus 10. When you show balls like that, and you've had a couple of days off to rest and get ready, and you're playing your home arena in a must-win type of game, I think the Kings get the win tonight, guys. Obviously, like I say, you don't have to take this, guys, in the chat. I see Memphis fanboy. If you like Memphis, and honestly, take them, guys. Your money, you'll sleep better at night going with your gut. I'm going with my gut. This was a spot that I was looking towards to. I like the Kings here to get their win. I think this is somewhat of a short line, if you ask me. All the publics is on the Grizzlies here. Went down from 4 to 3.5 threes, my guys. Nothing is guaranteed. The Grizzlies, Ja could go for 50 points tonight, and they could smack them up. But I'm on the side of the Kings, plus the 4 in the money line, my guys. You know what, man? I'd rather talk about some shirts, man. Let's talk about some shirts, man. $10 off shirts. Use promo code WIN10, man. You can get Jay and Shark shirts for $15, man. What are you doing? Now is the time till November 15th, man. Jay and Shark shirts, $15. You can get Smack City, Us Against The Bookies shirts. Let's get some cash as well. $10 off. Hit me up or Shark. JMoneyIsMoney.com is the easiest way to order. PayPal, all that good stuff. My guys, please, if you can support the show, man, retweet, like all that good stuff, man. Let's get to some free NBA picks, Shark. Even if you don't have anything free, I mean, if you don't have any picks, man, just let the people know something. Hey, give them some tips, whatever, man, lifestyle, whatever you got, Shark. Free tips for today.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of tips, Jay Money and I will be back on here in 5 hours exactly with NFL Week 8 commentary. I'm getting hyped even thinking about it. That fucking violin, the music. Let's go. And but one final point on your Kings play. I was just looking at it a little bit more detail in the last 20 seconds here. You know, when you look at this 0-3 start, I think you got to give credit to the opponent here in these spots. When they lost to Portland in the opener, we did not know Portland was going to go 4-0 coming out the gate. And losing to the Clippers. Clippers are a deep playoff team come May, 100%. And the Dubs are the champs. So you got deep playoff, you got the champs, and you got a team that's super hot to start the season. This isn't so bad of an 0-3. And I think you're making incredibly valid points about just a misrepresented record here to a certain degree. And again, last year, the line functionality was not clean in this matchup. So theoretically, if it comes up strong to Memphis, that doesn't necessarily tell you a default Memphis story here. So I think you're probably on it with the Kings tonight. But as I said, this is a tough card for you. You got 2 national games, doubleheader, a lot to watch. We're taking a break today. This is not because we got backdoored yesterday or anything like that. It's just not connecting for me. Jay Money with 3 plays. Hell of a show. 26 minutes in the books. Close them out and let's dominate.
Yeah, let's do it. And then the last thing I'll say, guys, and in all honesty, I really do think the Grizzlies are due to tank one, guys. We saw them almost do it versus the Rockets over there. They got smoked versus the Mavs. They come back versus the Nets, real back and forth type of game. And they have a couple of big games versus the Jazz on deck as well, where we like them versus the Jazz. They always have beef from them when they put them out the playoffs a year ago, my guys. So maybe a little look ahead spot. This team is not playing great defense right now. The Kings are a run and gun type of team. This is deep as they've been in a little while. Like I said, I go out on a limb here. I think the Kings win this game by 10 plus points. 4 official plays for me, my guys. Let's go 4-0 one time for the one time. Nothing's guaranteed. You don't have to ride with me. Go with your gut, my guys. You know what I'm saying? If you like the Mavs, hey, take the Mavs. But I'm on the Clippers first quarter -2. We'll go official with the first half -4. It's 3.5s out there, but we'll go official with the -4. My money's on 3.5. And then I'm on Kings. We hopped on it last night +4 money line +145. I'll go official with +3. If you wait, might get a 3.5. Money's gonna come on the Grizzlies here, but +3. Or just on the money line. I think the Kings win this game outright. I'm on both of them. 4 official plays. I'm trying to go 4-0 one time for the one time, my guys. Let's get this cash back in about 4.5, 5 hours with my guy Shark doing the NFL show that everybody's been asking about. Hit the notifications, man. Hit the like button, subscribe. We treat the show as well. And we out, my guys. Let's get this cash. It's Us Against the Bookies. We will win.